welcome to my first video where I'm actually talking to you guys. I'm going to put on some mascara for y'all tonight. I'm going to show you guys how to ice a cake using the ombre effect. And a few things that you're going to need is some really awesome buttercream, which I already have here in my mixer, a very chilled cake, a spreader, this is my favorite one, I'm obsessed with this one, and an icing smoother. And you can find these typically on Amazon. Any of your favorite cake stores or craft stores will have them. Today I'm going to be doing an ombre orange buttercream. So let me go ahead and show you how I do that. There's a couple of different ways that you can actually achieve that ombre effect. I know I've seen a lot of people do it using a piping bag. I do not do that because I absolutely despise cleaning piping bags. So I'm going to show you the way that I do it. So you're going to start off with your buttercream, and I work my way down instead of up when I ice my cake, and I'll explain why I do that. So starting out, I have a very light orange buttercream. And the reason why I start off with the lightest color first is I can then add more color to deepen the color of whatever cake design I'm going to do or whatever ombre effect I'm going to do without having to make all these different shades of buttercream. So I start off with the lightest, I add a little bit more color as I go, and you can use any kind of color that you want. Today I'm using the Wilton Orange. I don't know if you can see that. A lot of the times I go to Hobby Lobby, I really like, it's called Sunny Side Up Bakery Squeezed Gel Color. I really like using this one because it is peanut and nut free, and I actually have a lot of clients that have peanut allergies, and so they have to be really, really mindful of that. So, but today we are going to use the Wilton Orange because I ran out of my Sunny Side Up Bakery Orange. So, starting off, we're going to go ahead and start putting our lightest color on first. And just give it a really good dollop on top there and smooth it out. You might hear Frozen playing in the background. My 5-year-old is a party animal, still awake, and that is what she chose to watch to go to sleep to tonight. So, if you hear Frozen in the background, that is why. But go ahead, after you add that, your lightest color to the top, smooth it out as best you possibly can. It doesn't have to be perfect at this point because you are going to run your icing smoother over the entire cake at the end to kind of give it that polished look. So once you got the top cover, go ahead and add a thin line of your light orange buttercream. And this line does not have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure that you are adding a healthy amount so that when you go to smooth it out, you're not taking off so much icing that you're then seeing the cake underneath. And I am one of those, I'd rather have more cake than icing kind of people, but not everyone's like that. So after you've got the icing all the way around, just do like a quick little rough smooth. I don't even know if that's right terminology. It's so late, I don't even know what I'm saying half the time. So we've got that that lightest color on there. What we're going to do now is, oh, I just made a mess. add a little bit more color, orange color, to deepen this orange. Not by much, because you want it to be a subtle change in color. That's the ombre. Just scrape it all down on the sides here and get it all nice and smooth here. Okay. Alright, so now, that one's not even open. That was a little toothpick here. And just add a little bit of orange to this. Always start off by adding a little bit. And then if the orange is not dark enough, or the color that you're working with is not dark enough, you can always add more, you can't take away. So it's better to have to darken your color than to lighten it. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Like I said, I don't want a huge drastic color change. Just a slight difference between the first two shades. And I think I want to go a smidge darker, because it's not quite where I want it to be. Wipe that off so I don't get icing in my gel color. And just add a tiny bit more. Fun fact, did you know that women can actually see more shades of color than men can? Yeah. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Flaming icing everywhere. A messy job. Okay, that is a lot better. So, go ahead and scrape this off the sides. Trying to get it off the beaters. I need to get one of those OCD beater scrapers. Evil Cake Genius has one, but I've yet to buy myself one. Okay, so once you've achieved that color, same thing as before, just take your spatula and do a thin layer of orange, another thin line of orange, I should say, around the entire cake, and then we're just going to repeat this process with the last little bit. Now this cake is for a graduate who is going to the University of Tennessee, hence the orange. So go Vols. I'm a Georgia Bulldog girl myself, but you know. This process goes pretty quickly. It's the smoothing process that always gets me and that takes the longest because I'm ridiculously OCD about it. And I'm going to give you a really cool tip how to get perfectly smooth icing on your cake. It is a lengthy process if you are trying to hurry up and get something done. So I would not recommend using this technique if you're in a hurry and you just want to get a cake done, because it ain't gonna happen. Okay, so you can see that I now have a really light orange, slightly darker orange, and now I'm going to repeat the process again by adding a little bit more orange to my buttercream in my mixer. And I did what I didn't want to do, and that was get icing in my gel color. Not following my own rules. Get as much of that icing off the side of your mixer as possible. Okay. And we'll let her go. Already tell I want to add a little bit more orange to that. It's not quite where I want it to be. Wow. Okay. Even mix in there all the way. It's still stuck to the attachment here, so we're gonna have to run that through one more time. Let's mix it all, or scrape it all off the side here. It smells so good. I love the smell of buttercream icing. I'm going to add a tiny bit more orange too, I think. Just a tiny bit. Okay. Hopefully this is the orange that I'm wanting. It looks like it is. So the tricky thing about dyeing your icing too is that when you're working with darker shades or you are trying to achieve a specific shade, do you hear that? That is my fire alarm. I set it off the other night when I was making hamburgers in my iron skillet, and now I can't get the damn thing to shut up. So you're gonna hear that like probably all throughout this video. Anywho, where was I? Sidetracked. Had a squirrel moment. Oh, so the tricky thing about your buttercreams is if you're trying to, or any icing really, when you're trying to achieve a specific color, I've found that when it rests, it tends to darken in color. So I always try and, I guess, color my icing like just a tiny bit lighter than the shade I'm actually trying to go for. And more often than not, like 95% of the time, it ends up being the shade that I wanted it to be. It's like playing Russian roulette with cake. Okay. So, did you hear it went off again? Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. Okay, so we're just going to add that last little bit here. There's a really cool technique too that I'm gonna do a video on. It's kind of popular right now. It's one of my favorite things, one of my more favorite designs, because it's more on that like modern, edgy, non-traditional kind of cake design. And I've done a few cakes. If you guys on my Instagram or on my Facebook, you'll see a couple of them that are gonna be like this. It's got this like really cool like rough edge, and then you take either like a gold or a silver, like a luster dust, and you paint that edge, and it just makes it pop. It's really cool looking. All right, so a quick little swiperoo there. Okay, so now our cake is covered And now comes the very time-consuming part for me, because like I said, I am ridiculously OCD when it comes to smoothing out my cakes. I don't like to see bubbles, dents, lines, anything. It has to be perfect. And I am my own worst enemy when it comes to that. Did y'all see my cute little apron? How adorable is this? So one of my girlfriends, her name is Christina, she actually made this for me. She owns Coast to Coast Southern Designs. It's super cute. I feel like that's me. I probably just ruined it. But she's on Instagram. She's also on Facebook, so you guys should go check her out. Okay, so using your icing scraper, you're going to start, obviously on one side of the cake and go all the way around it. But the trick is to go all the way around the cake without stopping, because as you stop, sometimes you tend to push in a little bit, and that causes like a little bit of a line in the icing. So I'm going to look a little like a contortionist here. And I don't know if you're going to be able to really see my hand, but I like to take my hand, see my left hand here, put it right where I'm going to start scraping. Well, actually, right a little, well, how do you explain that? A little ahead of where I'm going to start scraping, so that I get like a full swipe all the way around. So pressing lightly against your cake. You don't want to take a lot of the icing off. Make sure you get down eye level and just lightly scrape your cake all the way around. You can see I got a lot of icing off of there, and that's good. Okay. And we're going to try it again. And on this back side over here, it's already starting to show a little bit of that cake. So I'm going to take a lighter bit of that icing, just kind of add it on there. We definitely don't want to see cake underneath icing. That's not a pretty look. But you can already see how that dark fades up into the lighter orange and into the lightest orange, and it's just really, really pretty. Okay, and again, just pressing really, really lightly, keeping that spatula or scraper straight as possible. Literally, I probably scrape a cake, I don't know, a good 15, 20 times before I finally get it to where I want it to be. It's ridiculous, honestly. I can't help myself. Now, I am going to tell you a little trick that I like to do. Like I said, it is a little time consuming, but it is so worth it when it comes to having that beautiful smooth finish on your buttercream. So each time that I'm going over this, I'm only getting a tiny, tiny bit off each time. That's why I add so much. See, that's not a lot at all. So you just keep scraping, just lightly scraping that cake. Okay, so I'm at a good stopping point for myself right now. It's not perfectly smooth, but I'm going to tell you why I don't have it perfectly smooth at this point. So what I like to actually do is take my cake and I like to sit it in the freezer for about 10-15 minutes, and that actually gives the buttercream a little bit of time to kind of harden up to where when you scrape it, it's really giving you that more like polished buttercream, like smooth look. So I'm going to go ahead and finish leveling off or smoothing out the top part here of my cake, because we definitely don't want that part to be hard, because that would be a pain to try and smooth out. And there's a bunch of different ways that people do this. There's like this really like cool tool that you can buy. It almost looks like an L, like an upside down L. And it's meant to give you really sharp edges on your cake. I actually bought it, but I am one of those people that, probably one of the only people in the world that cannot use this thing. I don't know, I'm just not holding my mouth right or what, but I can't do it. It's very difficult for me, and it frustrates me, and I would just rather go back to doing my own process of smoothing my cakes, and it's worked for me so far. So the process is not broken, I fix it, you know what I mean? Right now I'm just trying to get that excess icing off the cake board, just because it's not pretty on there. You can always do this at the very end, but I have quite a bit of icing on there. So I'm gonna go ahead, take the cake, stick it in the freezer for about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll be back and finish smoothing it out, and then it'll be perfect. All right, so we are back. Our cake has chilled in the freezer, and it's actually been in there for a little longer than I had intended, but it's okay. It'll still, actually it'll probably work better because it was in there longer. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is these little bitty ridges here, I don't know if you can see them or not. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in those ridges with the lighter buttercream, because when the cake is really cold, it actually makes the smoothing process like so much better. This is one of my favorite techniques, like hands down. Okay, now this is so satisfying to me. It's kind of weird how satisfying it is to get this perfectly smooth cake. Okay, so scraper, again, make sure that your hand is placed underneath your turntable or cake stand or Lazy Susan or whatever it is that you're going to use, and place your hand so that when you are done scraping, you have gone a full rotation around your cake. So again, just press lightly. Go slow. Okay. And I'm going to repeat this process quite a few times, just because, like I said, I like my cakes ridiculously smooth, to where they almost look like they're covered in fondant. And sometimes I don't always have that luxury if I have a lot of cake orders or what have you, but if I can take the time to do it, I definitely do it. We have moved on from Frozen 1 to now Frozen 2. Being a mom with a lot of girls is never a dull moment, that is for sure. Okay, and I think if we just do one more scrape around this, it'll be practically perfect. And then we can work on that top, getting it real nice and smooth. One more swipe. I say that, I'm probably gonna do like 3 or 4 more swipes. indent right here that's not wanting to go away. And then there was another little one in a lighter orange. Let's get that right here. All right. That is pretty close to perfection right there. So I am very, ooh, just not break my scraper. Very happy with how that turned out. Okay, so now let's work on that top. Make sure that your spatula is nice and cleaned off, because if you don't, then it's going to leave like little pieces of icing on the edge of your cake. So you will not get that real nice crisp finish around there. So let's start. And everyone smooths the top of their cakes differently too, I've noticed. You just have to find the method that works best for you. In all honesty, there is no one way that is better than the other. It's just, like I said, whatever feels comfortable for you, whatever works for you. So what works for other people might not always work for, you know, the next person. So make it your own. There are definitely some techniques out there that I've seen that are very unorthodox, but like I said, it works for them. So, you know. I'm just adding some icing to some little bubbles that I kind of, not really, I guess not really bubbles if you want to call it that, but some places that I'm seeing that are not perfectly smooth on the top of this cake. So now, because I've done that, I'm going to smooth the side of it again. I'll try and move it a little closer to the finished product. I'll try to move the finished product closer to you so that you can see it a little bit better. And then I'll also post a picture of it on Instagram so that you can see it. I'm very, very happy with that. So I watched the video, the first part of this video, which is probably a mistake, because I realized that, one, I ramble a lot, and I say a lot, and what was the other thing? See, I can't even remember what I was doing that was weird. Oh, I make weird faces. Yeah. When I concentrate, I make weird faces. So that's fun, right? I don't know how to change that. That's just going to be a thing. I'm the weird face making cake lady. All right. This is pretty nice. Oh, there's one little spot right here that I'm seeing that I don't really like, so I'm gonna just work on this one little area right here. I'm not gonna go around the whole cake. Just this one spot. It wasn't perfect. So if you guys want to see any type of technique, or if you want to know more about how I level off my cakes, or how I make my buttercream, or anything like that, let me know. I'll be more than happy to try and put that together for you guys. I know there's a lot of videos out there on how things are done, but like I said, not everyone does it the same way. And maybe my way might be a little easier. Or maybe not. I don't know. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I'm scared to move it. Watch me accidentally drop it. Oh my gosh, I would be devastated. No, you can't really see it. So, all the way around, even, pretty, crisp lines. This right here is just, oh, makes me happy. It's the little things in life, right? Okay, well, if you guys like this video, let me know. If not, don't let me know. But thank you for taking the time to watch this. And if you learned something, great. If there's anything that I did that was really wonky, I apologize. I'm just quirky sometimes. So thank you guys again. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you on the next video.